So welcome to Cooking Fun with Joanna. I am Joanna Hodorowska. I am a holistic nutritionist and holistic sports nutritionist because I work a lot with athletes. As an athlete, I help other athletes perform better. But I also do a lot with inflammation. So today we are going to be cooking Moroccan style. So it's going to be a Moroccan chicken chorba. And, you know, when I originally looked at the recipe, I'm going to change it a little bit because it's not going to be like a stew. And that's kind of what it was supposed to be, but we're going to make less liquid and put it all in. I have the 12-inch, I think it's called, 12-inch pan to throw it all into. You could also put it into a big pot because you're going to cook the vegetables and cook the chicken all in the pot before you put in the tomatoes. And of course, I forgot to buy the tomatoes. And I forgot to buy the, at least I have the tomato paste, but I don't have the tomatoes or the can of fire roasted potatoes or tomatoes. And I forgot cauliflower. So I'm going to use broccoli instead.
Yeah.
You know, you got to kind of make up what you got to do when you can't find what you need. And I think in the original recipe, I said that we're going to use turmeric root. My grocery store doesn't have turmeric root right now. So I am just going to use the turmeric powder because that's going to be what works. So ingredients wise, we're going to be using olive oil, a couple of chicken breasts, two medium onions, or as I call it, one large onion, because mine are large. Saffron, which I don't know if
Hi, we're here.
it's
Hey.
bread.
Late.
Hi, Steve.
How you
Hi,
doing?
Hi, Shannon. Then we're gonna add a little bit of liquid, and I'm gonna actually use some vegetable broth. You're gonna get the liquid from the fire roasted diced tomatoes. We're gonna use a can of chickpeas because I didn't soak mine either. You can do either the half can of roasted diced tomatoes, or you can actually cut up 2 tomatoes. Then there'll be some tomato paste, some parsley, some cauliflower. In my case, it's going to be broccoli, coriander, and cardamom. And we might add some lemon zest too. Did I put that in the recipe? And garlic? Because everything always needs garlic.
Yes.
I did say lemon zest.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at it, I was like, this is the one we used the last time, and it's a little dehydrated. I think I might need a new one. That's how it is, right? You think you have what you need, and I do have another one, but I gotta go. I don't find it. Oh, here it is. This is what a fresh lemon looks like, and this is what a dried out one looks like. You can even see the color is totally different.
Yeah.
This one used to look like this, but not anymore. And I think I mentioned we were going to put in parsley at the end too. Yeah. So parsley is anti-inflammatory. Turmeric is anti-inflammatory. The onions feed the good bugs. The potatoes also feed the good bugs. And so does the broccoli and the cauliflower, which are both also anti-inflammatory, high in sulfur compounds, which are very detoxifying as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with chopping the onion. Then we're going to dice the potatoes. I did say there's 2 potatoes. The potatoes, put them in the pan and chop up the broccoli or the cauliflower, and then put that in the pan. We're going to saute all that. Then we're going to add the chicken and turn up the heat a bit so that we can get it a little bit browned. Then we'll add the spices, the tomatoes, the beans, the tomato paste. Let it kind of all cook together and simmer. And then we'll chop in the parsley at the end and the lemon zest. And that should be it. Got it?
There is. Yeah.
So go ahead and if you've got the electric stove, absolutely positively, I should have told you to turn the pan on, get it heated. but I'm gonna tell you to turn the stove on and get the pan heated, put it on medium, if you've got the, a gas stove. And, again, you're gonna use either the 12-inch pan, or you're gonna use a 10-inch pot. So it's up to you which one you wanna use, but that's what, I've got the pan, so I'm gonna use that. And I'm not gonna put ginger in mine in place of turmeric, because that's just gonna give it a different flavor, and that's probably not gonna be a good thing. So we're gonna let that heat up, and we're gonna put some olive oil in it after we cut up the garlic and the onions. But you want a big butcher knife, because it provides a little bit more leverage. I actually tried a shorter knife the other week, and I gotta say that my hand hurt. Because it just didn't have the leverage that I wanted. And the more you cook and the more you use the bigger knives, the more agile you will be with them. I should have gotten I'm gonna get a bigger cutting board. That was just too small. I'm not gonna be able to cut anything on it. There. A big cutting board. That's better. So you're gonna peel off the outer layers of the onion, and see how there's this extra layer of skin. You want to make sure that that is gone too, because if that is not taken off, it becomes very slippery. Oh, look, I got a little extra. And you want to make sure that your knives are sharp. So we're actually gonna dice these onions. I said that as if it was a question. No, we are dicing the onions. So you'll leave that tail on, or you can dig your nails into it to hold on to the onion. But make sure you're paying attention to slicing with your sharp knife.
I'll wait for you to get out.
Because if you don't pay attention, you might slice your finger. Or what happened to me a couple years ago is the whole onion, actually, I was chopping it and the whole thing flipped under, and I totally sliced off my finger.
Ooh.
Well, I guess I didn't slice it off. So you're gonna put 2 tablespoons of olive oil into your pan. I don't know if you saw me do that, but I now have 2 tablespoons of olive oil in my pan. And it's still heating up, I'm sure. But you want to go ahead and put the onion that you've already chopped up into it. Then we're going to chop up the garlic. And if it sizzles like mine is, then it's definitely heated up, which is a good thing. Because if it's not heated up, sometimes that's when things stick. So again, you're going to peel off the 1 or 2 layers of the garlic. We're on the onion still.
Oh,
We're going to cut slices into it and then dice it.
yeah.
And if you're into making your own broth, the onion ends and the skins are really good for putting it into those broths. And then if you can see what I'm doing, I'm still using my big knife. Maybe I should use the spoon. But go ahead and kind of stir the onions. Make sure that the olive oil kind of covers them all. And now we're going to chop up the garlic. Same thing. Dice it up. Then we're going to cut up the potato. And if you have a hard time getting the skin off, go ahead and lay the flat side of the knife on top and push down on the garlic clove, and the skin comes right off. It's an ancient Italian secret, right?
That's what I was told.
Yep. Well, Gina told me about that one. Because my mother did not. We just tried to peel that garlic clove with the knife. And the fresher the garlic, the harder that clove, the skin comes off. And then I got one of those peeler contraptions, and I got to tell you that was useless. Don't spend money on a peeler contraption. Just take your knife, push down on it, and the skin comes right off. Voila! And then you want to just cut that end off because it's a little bit too tough. But at least cut it in half and then kind of dice it into slices. This is where it comes in handy to have nails because you can grab onto the bottom of the garlic. And I'm going to put 3 garlic cloves in because my garlic cloves are not that big. Well, I don't know. This is like 3 teeny tiny ones. So I might just add all 3 of them in there. Because garlic is good for boosting the immune system. It keeps all those vampires away. And if it's raw, that's what I like to eat it with some kind of cooked beans. So that I actually get over any kind of cold or virus or something like that faster. I even had a toothache a couple of weeks ago and ate 2 cloves of garlic 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row, and it never became more than just a little ache. And I'm not saying that, garlic is the cure-all for everything, but, you might as well try the garlic because it's natural. And then you can avoid going to the doctor to get antibiotics because the antibiotics will kill everything, the good and the bad in the gut. So you might feel better, but then you might end up having other GI issues later on in life because you killed all the good bugs and the bad bugs. And then if you did what I did today, where I ate half a bag of chocolate eggs, then I'm feeding the bad bugs. All right, so make sure you stir mine's already starting to brown. So I'm actually gonna put mine off my burner for a second while I chop up the potatoes. And the potatoes, you can put them in matchsticks or you can cube them. So it's your own preference. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a combo.
You just do matchsticks, right?
Mine are kind of like matchsticks, but they're not quite even sized. So I want at least one side to be about a 1/2 inch thick. Otherwise, if they're too thick, then it'll take too long to cook.
These are mine.
That's good. So these are mine, just sliced. I'm gonna move that back on the heat. Drop the potatoes into the pan. And what you can do, which is what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna try to move the onions to the side and move the potatoes so that they're on the actual pan. But again, we're only on 1 potato, so we gotta get going with cutting the other one too. All right. These might look more like matchsticks when I'm done with them. That more so than the first one. But we definitely want to make sure that all the veggies are cooked before we put in any kind of liquid, because as soon as we put in liquid, then we are here for an extra 25 to 35 minutes. And I know you guys all love me, but we've got other things to do tonight too, rather than just sit and watch something try to cook. Well, I can smell the garlic coming off my pan, so that's a good thing. All right, so we're just gonna leave that. I'm gonna turn my heat up just a teeny tiny bit. Probably shouldn't have taken the pan off the burner because it's almost like cold again. But now you're gonna take your cauliflower. And I know this is not cauliflower, this is broccoli, but that's what I have, and you're gonna dice it. You use what you have. You go to the grocery store with a whole list, and then you come home and you realize that some of the things are not there. So you're just gonna cut it up into like 1/2-inch cubes.
Hello.
Hi, Gina. It's gonna be a good 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup of cauliflower or broccoli, whichever you have.
Yeah, you need to do anything or?
And you're just gonna put that into the pan along with the potatoes and everything else. This is sometimes the easier way where you cut off enough that you can lay it down flat, and then you can cut it from the top. It just puts some pressure on the knife, and voila, it's all chopped up. And if you really wanted to do a shortcut, you could just do cauliflower rice. So now you're gonna take this and also put it into the pan. And that's the easy part. So this is what mine is looking like. And what I'm gonna have you do is just spread the broccoli and cauliflower all the way across. And make sure your pan is covering the burner. But it's gonna take probably a good 10 minutes for the potatoes to cook. So what's everybody doing for Easter? Anything fun?
I'm cooking.
What are you cooking? What are you cooking?
Smoking a ham. Gina's doing a lamb.
You're doing a lamb?
Yeah, making a lamb and we're doing ham and lamb.
Ham and
Lamb and
lamb.
lamb.
And how are you doing the ham?
Smoker.
Oh, in the smoker. Nice. So while we're here waiting for that to cook, you're gonna take your parsley and you're gonna take you're gonna basically chop up 3 to 4 tablespoons. So we might as well be productive while we're waiting and just chop up the parsley so that when we're ready for it, we'll be ready for it. So again, you're gonna use that big knife. I'm trying to fish out the ones that are the pieces that are old in my collection. Save the ones that are still good. And then we're just gonna chop up that parsley. I can hear somebody chopping already.
That's
So
me.
you're gonna chop off the stems, and these would be, the stems would also be really good to throw into a broth if you're making broth, because it just gives us some flavor. But you're gonna just take the parsley and try to bunch it up as much as you can with your hands, and then just use that knife and shred it into like 1/4-inch pieces. If you have too much stem, like I have in this one, then just get rid of that part.
Just go right in the pan.
It's gonna go in later.
Okay.
It's going in later. But I figured if we're waiting for the rest to cook, then we might as well do something. We're also gonna be cutting up the chicken. But I want to finish with this parsley so that it's all nicely chopped up. But this is very, very cleansing. It's got chlorophyll in it. It's good for the liver to detoxify. And now I'm gonna take a peek at my onions and potatoes. And I definitely have to stir it because it's just sticking to the bottom. I gotta scrape off the potatoes off the bottom, otherwise they're gonna be burnt pieces of potato on the bottom of the pan.
That's good.
But do the best you can with stirring everything. And then we're gonna chop up the chicken into slices, and they're probably gonna be 1/2 inch pieces. We're just gonna let this continue to cook. And it might be easier for me to just cut over here so you can see what I'm doing. Like a 2 chicken breasts, and I'm gonna put them into kind of like you would for a stir fry.
I just need the glass bowl and
And the thinner you slice it, the faster the chicken will cook. So I'm cutting mine into 1/2 inch slices. Can you see how thick that is? And I typically cut it on a little bit of a diagonal too to get longer pieces. Maybe that doesn't matter to you, but it somehow looks prettier to me. Then you can move that piece over and just the other. If you have any big pieces of fat, you want to take those off because that is not going to be beneficial for our belly. Right. So that's two chicken breasts worth. Now the trick is we're gonna make some space in the middle of the pan. And put the chicken in there. And you might need to put a little bit more olive oil on here, but you might not. I don't know. Hard to say. I'm gonna put a little bit in there. And then go ahead and put the chicken into that middle. That was probably not the way to do it, but that's the way I ended up doing it.
You just cubed the chicken, right?
No, I did not. I made it into slices. Like you can do it in cubes as well. And I have so much chicken that it's not all gonna fit on this pan. No, I'm gonna save the other part of the chicken for another day and cook it tomorrow. So I'm just gonna put that aside. Put that into a bowl. Wash my hands because I don't want chicken fingers anymore. And now we're gonna put all the spices in. So while we're waiting for that, we're just gonna go ahead and put a little bit of the saffron in here. If I can open my container.
So the spices in.
Huh?
Spices in. Saffron.
Just the cardamom. And what about turmeric?
What about the turmeric? We're using turmeric, because I don't think we're using, no, we're not using saffron.
Oh, if you're using, if put in the turmeric as well, chop that up. I'm using turmeric powder.
That's what we're using, is the
Yeah, that's
powder.
where you're using the powder, yeah. We're putting that in now.
You're gonna put that in now, yeah. Or when we put in the, when we cook the chicken. Which will be in a minute anyway. And I put up a teaspoon of
The whole-
teaspoon of turmeric. I'm gonna go ahead and put my chicken.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna put the rest of the spices in. Oh. I can get that one last piece of chicken to turn over. All right, so now I'm gonna put the 2 teaspoons of turmeric in. Just 1 teaspoon. Then we're gonna put a teaspoon of cardamom. Or a half a teaspoon of cardamom. No, I'm gonna put a teaspoon of cardamom in here. And a teaspoon of the coriander. And then if you've got the fire roasted tomatoes, you're gonna be putting those in a second. We're gonna put some salt and pepper on here as well. So you're gonna be putting a half a can of the fire roasted tomatoes, or you're gonna put in, you're gonna have 2 diced tomatoes that you're putting in. Got it?
Yep.
And if you're like me that didn't get either, then I'm gonna use a little bit of broth. But now I'm gonna go ahead and open up my can of beans and rinse them because they're going in here as well. Well, I guess I'm not doing a can of beans because look what happened. It's not fast enough.
Just use your can opener, open it.
So we go to the old fashioned can opener. That was, I don't think I've ever had that happen before.
I have.
But hey, there's a first for everything, right?
Yep.
And the first key is don't freak out. Because there's always a solution.
You're not putting the broth of the beans in there, are you?
Yeah. Just be careful that you don't cut your finger. Probably the easier thing to do is to take a sieve. Take a sieve. If you were my sieve, where would you be? probably better to take a sieve and rinse the beans in there. Especially when it comes off like mine does, the whole thing. And then you're gonna put those into the pan. Now you're gonna put your diced tomatoes. I'm gonna do a little bit of my vegetable broth. That's what I
And
have.
I'm only using a half a can of the roasted
Pardon me?
tomatoes, right?
We're putting
Half
in
a
the
can?
lemon next.
Half a can of the roasted tomatoes?
You're putting in either a half a can of the fire roasted tomatoes, or you're putting in a half a cup of diced tomatoes. And here we're just gonna, this is the greatest contraption. Where we're gonna add the lemon zest. And I think that should be enough lemon zest. You're gonna get a teaspoon of lemon zest in here. I'm actually gonna put a little bit of lemon juice in mine. And then the tomato paste. Then I'm gonna stir it all up together. I'm gonna put a teaspoon of the tomato paste into it. And then you're gonna stir this all together. One pot meal. Remember, do not use, if it says tomato paste, do not use ketchup. It just will not give you the right flavor. So now we're just gonna stir it all up. And then we're gonna cover it for 5 minutes. And let it all kind of get to where it's supposed to be. And if you need to add a little bit more water or something like that, a little bit of liquid, which is what I'm gonna do, just to add a little bit of liquid. You're adding it with the tomatoes and I don't have the tomatoes. But stir it all together, keep kind of folding it all in. Doing the best you can. This smells really good. I don't know how it smells on your side, but it smells really good on my end. All right. So now I'm just going to put a lid on it and we're going to let it simmer for 5 minutes. And you know what? We might as well put the parsley that we chopped up onto it.
Wonder when you're gonna do that.
Yep. What's the fun of cooking? There's never like, it has to be put in at this particular time or it's ruined. So you can put it in as just a garnish, or you can put it in and cook it in. And I decided to cook it in. So we're just gonna let that simmer, put all the other things away. Put the tomato paste back in its container. If you ever need tomato paste, I got this at Wegmans. It comes in a box. But the cool thing is that it comes in a tube, so that
Yeah.
way
Yeah, we had that
doesn't
before.
go bad.
Yeah, we
You
had
know,
that before.
whenever I buy a can of tomato paste, it's not that big of a can, but I use one, and then I end up throwing the rest of it out because I didn't use it and it went rotten. So this is my suggestion: get a tube of this, and you won't have any issues with your tomato paste. And it is a product of Italy. produced and packed in Italy, so it's very well made, and it's just tomatoes. So now I'm just going to take a fork. I'm just going to use a fork. And because this is probably hot, I'm going to use my little mitt to hold on to that lid. Make sure you are careful because the steam will run off the lid. But you want to check to see if the potatoes are ready. My potatoes are not quite ready. That's the determining factor. I probably should have made sure that the potatoes were fully cooked before I put the chicken in. My bad. How's your chicken or how are your potatoes? Same thing?
Yeah.
So this is how we learn, right?
Sure do.
Now we know that we really have to, you know, make sure that the potatoes are cooked. Maybe next time we'll cook the potatoes and then chop them in. Maybe that would be the other alternative. So while we're waiting for that, I will go ahead and tell you next time. I don't even know what the date is next time. What's the second Tuesday? The second Tuesday of, no. We're gonna be the fourth Tuesday, correct? The fourth Tuesday on the 26th. On the 26th of April, we are gonna make smothered bean burgers. So I haven't decided if we're gonna do black soybeans like it has in the recipe or use other beans yet. But we're gonna do that, and we're gonna have a whole bunch of sauteed vegetables to go along with it. So it's gonna be a nice vegetarian option. And why not make your own vegetable burgers? And I think I'm probably gonna add some shiitake mushrooms into it as well, just because I find that the shiitake mushrooms or even the wild mushrooms give it a little extra texture and a little bit of more binding power. So it's not just beans.
I could do that
Sound
one.
good?
Can
So
you
that's
make a burger out of something other than beans? Because I don't bean.
You don't bean. Do you
Yeah.
lentil?
I don't lentil. I don't
You don't
bean.
lentil?
I'm not a fan. I hate them.
Okay. So I will find some other vegetable burger to make. How about that? But we're gonna make some kind of a smothered
Preferably for
vegetable
me.
burger.
All right.
So it's gonna be something that's gonna be vegetarian, but I will figure out whether we use sweet potatoes and some other vegetables in there. And
Alrighty.
mushrooms. All right. So
Yep.
thank you for the
Yep.
heads up, because you know, I was always like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we got a good one. And then,
Yeah, I
You
probably
don't
would
do
have just
beans,
watched
it's a
and
problem.
said, yeah.
pardon me?
I probably would have just watched and said, yeah, I'm not beaning.
Yeah, I'm not doing that one. Right. Well, you know, you could just use turkey.
Well, yeah,
You can put turkey in it. There you go.
that's fine. That's fine with me.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm gonna make some kind of a blend. Maybe I'll make a complete blend. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, but now that I have to do it non-beans, then I gotta get creative up here. So
What about cauliflower burgers?
possibly.
Yeah, do that.
It might be an idea, but I think we need some other vegetables in there too. So I'll think about it. But it'll be some kind of burger. Maybe we'll throw some turkey in it, but it'll be a beanless burger. All right, now the potatoes are ready. Well, some of them anyway. But I'm gonna go ahead and stir mine up because it needs to stir. And so I'm going to grab a bowl. So now you can come watch me stir. So again, you gotta make sure that you are careful with taking the lid off. So now that all the liquid has kind of escaped, then probably time to turn it off, but mix it all together. I'm gonna try to scrape some of this good stuff off the bottom. That's probably where all the flavor is, you know?
Yeah.
That's how it usually works, right? Wherever it's caramelized onto the bottom of the pan is probably where it has the most amount of flavor. And you know what? You could probably put some white wine into here if you really wanted to.
Mm,
That could be a liquid.
I don't have any.
Pardon me?
I don't have any.
I don't
I
either.
drink it all.
I don't have any that's, well, no, I do actually have some open in the garage fridge. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and try mine. And then just cover the rest and let it just do what it does. So how does everybody else's look?
In a second.
Are your
Still
potatoes
cooking.
all better? Mine is steaming quite nicely. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and
Get your camera.
get my camera.
Oh, look at you.
No, look at that. That looks,
Ain't
that
I
looks really
special?
awesome.
Short ones kind of way.
Very nicely done.
Gina said I'm special in a short bus kind of way.
In a what kind of special way?
Short bus.
Hey, you're doing fabulous stuff with cooking, so anybody who can cook gets a thumbs up from me. Anybody who wants to learn how to cook, contact me and we'll do our own private class. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this. I'm hoping that I don't burn my tongue because mine is steaming like crazy. All right, 1 potato, one bean, a little bit of broccoli, and a piece of chicken. How's that for, I got it all in one bite. And you can probably still, you can see it on the screen. This is still steaming, piping hot. So I'm gonna blow on it a little bit more. Mm. Mm. I mean, it definitely would have been better if I put the tomatoes in, but I like the spices, I like the combination, and the lemon gives it a nice little zing. And everything was a very good texture. You know, if you wanted crunch, this could be something that you could actually add some walnuts or sunflower seeds into. And that could be actually a nice little addition.
Mm.
Just saying, after the fact. But it's
Good.
very good.
Very good.
Anybody else ready, or is it just me that's
No, I'm eating.
eating away?
Oh, unfortunately, my chicken was frozen.
Oh,
I didn't really prepare good enough today.
my chicken was frozen too, except so the fastest way to defrost a chicken or really anything is keep it in the plastic, but put it in a bowl of water.
Yeah, I should have done that. I did take it out, but I didn't put it in water.
Yeah, because it'll literally defrost in 10-15 minutes.
Oh,
It's a little bit
good
longer,
to know.
but yeah, anytime you have anything frozen, just keep it in the plastic, put it into a bowl of water, and it doesn't have to be warm water.
Mhm.
Just put it in water.
Okay.
But definitely not hot,
Yeah. Okay.
because then it defrosts weird, and it's almost like it cooked it. If it's
Oh,
in
yeah.
water. All right, so we'll see you in 2 weeks. And we're gonna do some kind of a vegetable burger, or maybe it'll be a vegetables with turkey.
A hybrid
It's gonna
hybrid
be
method.
hybrid, but it's gonna be a burger, and we're gonna put it on a bed of greens or something like that.
Okay.
All right, and maybe I'll
Yep.
come up with some amazing sauce. with mayonnaise and ketchup and who knows what,
A tahini
garlic
or something.
and mustard.
Tahini.
Tahini, maybe I'll do a tahini dressing. Oh, that
Yeah.
would be good. Yes, we'll
That
do
would
it with a
probably be good.
tahini dressing. I like that idea.
All right.
You're on. All right, so thank you for joining us. And if you enjoyed this video, please make your comments below in terms of how you liked it. And if you have, and how yours turned out. And if you really like the class, then I would, I'm asking for a $10 donation, and you can send that to my Venmo account. You can go to www.nutritioninmotion.net and also just scroll down to the bottom where it says pay invoice, and just that's a donation button as well. So you can donate $10 to, so that I can continue doing more of these classes. And if you need to reach me, same thing, www.nutritioninmotion.net. And you can contact me and ask whatever questions you have about your health, about your well-being or your lack of well-being, and how we can optimize your health, not just for right now, but for the beyond the rest of your life. Enjoy, and we shall see you in 2 weeks.
Yep.